All right, so I wanted to talk briefly about how to convert metric prefixes. So here's the deal. This is trying to convert 5.64 meters into centimeters. Meters is the base unit, which means that scientific notation-wise, this is times 10 to the 0th power. Centimeters is times 10 to the negative second power. The difference between the exponents is a factor of 2 powers of 10, right? That means I'm going to need to move my decimal 2 places. As I'm thinking about this, I'm going from meters, something that's relatively large, to centimeters, something that's relatively small. That means that my decimal is going to move to the right. I'm going to be multiplying by 100 essentially, and I'm going to be getting 564 centimeters as an answer here. Second problem here, I've got going from millimeters to meters. Milli is a prefix that means times 10 to the negative third power. Meters is times 10 to the 0th power. This is 3 powers of 10 difference. That means I'm going to move the decimal 3 places. Going from a really tiny unit to a relatively larger unit means that I'm going to wind up moving my decimal to the left. 2.34 millimeters is a really small distance. So in meters, it's going to be even smaller. So I'm going to have an answer of 0.00234. Okay. And again, as something we talked about in class, there's a tendency sometimes for people to miss the decimal when there's numbers directly after it. Sometimes people like to use a 0 in front just so that the decimal is noticed. I don't think this is a case of that situation, but I'm going to put it there. It's not wrong not to. All right. 1.23 megameters converting to millimeters. Now mega is a metric prefix that means times 10 to the 6th. I know that because the Illinois State Lottery is mega millions. A million has 6 zeros in it. Milli is still times 10 to the negative third. The difference between these two numbers is 9. That's 9 powers of 10. So I'm going to move my decimal 9 places. In this particular case, that means that I'm going to be moving to the right because this is a relatively large measurement to a relatively small measurement. That means my number is going to be huge over here. I'm actually, instead of moving my decimal 9 places to the right here, since this already appears to be somewhat in scientific notation, I am just going to append the scientific notation on there that's necessary. Some people might write this. 3, 6, yeah, I moved it 9 places to the right. So that's the same thing. Okay. Now, one last problem. Maybe I'll use the micrometers, and maybe I'll convert to centimeters. Okay. 3.64 micrometers converting to centimeters. Now, micrometers are really small. They're times 10 to the negative 6th small, and centimeters are only times 10 to the negative 2nd small. There's a power of 4 difference here. Let me move that up a little bit higher. So there is a factor of 4 powers of 10 difference between negative 6 and negative second. Micros are really small, centis are pretty big. So that means that my decimal is going to move to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 36,400. I hope that helps.